What's up guys, Artilla Boy here. Today we're doing another video. Today we're taking a look at the United States canteens. Or one-quart canteens. Let's begin. Now, these are more likely an upgraded version of you guessed it, the World War II canteens. Ones from AMGM Co's. You know, don't worry. We'll get to those guys later down the line. Now, you could probably know word about the pouches. Now, the pouch itself would be kind of similar to this. Have this little, like, fur inside of it. Would have it being made of nylon. And having, like, a little pouch to put things like purification tablets, you know, stuff like that. Even the material of how it actually secured it is kind of similar to this. Now, don't worry, I do have a handful of those, but that will get its own review when I talk about the LC2, to be exact. Yeah, that's where the cover is. Now, I actually have 3 versions of it. This one is more likely not like an early model, but this is from 1976. And this one's the one that does not have a gas mask gas mask port, rather for its drinking straw, but instead it's just a normal canteen with the entire thing being welded on there. That's kind of the thing about it here. The other one is the one that's probably the most common one, is the one with the gas mask port to it. Things like more of the MSAs, things like M17s, M40s, MCU/2Ps, M45s, you know, the rest of those kind of ones, those type A's. This one I got was from Sonetronics, and this one's from 1992. And this one's another biggest difference is the cups. Yeah, this is for things like boiling water, for things like tea or coffee. This one's the more recognizable one. Also, it's supposed to have like a little stove piece on it, but I don't have that in my collection. This one's actually for 2 versions that have you to hold it like this. That's kind of what it is. And this one's one of the more newer ones. This one's using of more for like the Avons, things like the S10s, FM12s, M50s, and the M53s, or FM53s. So let's get to talk about the size itself. So size of the cup would be around about almost to 4 inches. How long it will be, or how long will take around about 4.5 inches. And how wide is it going to be? Around about 2 quarters. And that's for the cup alone. But for the canteen itself, the size itself would be around about 6 inches without the cap, 8 inches with cap. That's going to be, almost around about 8 inches. How the long length of it would be around about 4.5 inches. And how big or wide it is going to be around about 2.5 inches. So now let's go see how many water this will take. So the normal canteen takes around about 2 water bottles. Like, it actually is almost filled to the brim to it. Now, let's get to this little cup itself. It takes almost 1.5 or 1 1/4 for the whole cup itself. Now, let's get to the conclusion itself. So, I'm actually giving these canteens an astounding of a 9 out of 10. These are actually kind of the most simple canteens we can ever get, by far. Now, in spite of the... Now, for things like the pouch, that will get its own dedicated review on that when we get to the LC2 review, which, little spoiler alert, we will. But these are quite a bit, pretty good for what they are, and that's really not bad for it. Now, that wraps up of the United States canteens, 1 quart canteens. I'm Artillboy, and I'm signing out. I'll see you guys next time.